Hello everyone, it's Alpaca and today I'm bringing you an episode of Kickstart. In this series I take a look at the very best video game projects from Kickstarter and Indiegogo and then showcase them to you. By the very best I mean projects that I think will interest you, look astounding, or are part of the way there. By that I mean they've had some work done to them but are not finished yet. The games in question that I will be showcasing to you this week will be Kingdom Come Deliverance, Project Rain World, and a game called Cradle. All of these games I have chosen because I think they just look very nice, the mechanics are quite interesting, and well, like I said, I think they will interest you. So without further ado, let's get on with the first game. The first game of today is a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a game that's being created by a studio or a group of people that go by the name of Warhorse Studios. I'm not quite sure why I had to say it in that voice, but I felt like I needed to do it justice, and I think I have. The game itself is a realistic single-player RPG set in medieval Europe. It'll be a sandbox game, open world, and there'll be periodic melee combat. Think of it as a combination of Mount and Blade and Chivalry, and then on steroids, because it is amazing. It looks so high detailed. As with all these projects, they will be linked in the description. I highly implore you to look at the video for this one, and you will be blown off your feet by how amazing it looks. Admittedly, it is quite far off. It's, well, to put it gently, the estimated delivery for this game is December 2015. But the problem is, that's a year and, well, that's almost 2 years away actually. It's a year and 10 months, give or take a month or two. But the thing is, that is a long time to wait for a game that there's no guarantee is going to come out. I mean, it looks amazing, but, oh, I don't know. Another issue with this game actually is the fact that to buy, not to buy, but to donate to get access to Act 1 is, you can pay as little as £15, $24 or €18. But the problem is, if you want to get access to Act 2 as well through the Kickstarter campaign, then you're going to have to pay £125 or your regional equivalent. That's a lot! And there's 3 acts. I can't remember how much it was to get into all 3 acts, but I can imagine it was more than £125. Now, that's a lot of money for a game that is quite far off, and who knows if you're actually going to like it. Personally, I've pledged enough to get me into Act 1 because I have a limited amount of funds. In my opinion, do not donate to any of these Kickstarters actually if you don't have a surplus of funds or any spare money, because it will be a while till you get the game, and on top of that, it's a game that you don't know you'll necessarily like, because there are no demos available to play and you don't necessarily have experience of the game beforehand. It does say with Warhorse, no, that's the name of the studio, it does say that with Kingdom Come Deliverance that there will be early access to alpha and whatever, but it doesn't say when that will be, so your guess is as good as mine. Currently, they've already beaten their target of £300,000. They've surpassed it massively. They've got £719,000 already at the time of going, at the time of looking at that. 7 days to go on their project. They've got a lot of funding there. At the moment, the only extra things you're going to be getting for the stretch goals are things like in-game combat academy, companion training video, that comes at 800,000. If they reach 900,000, there will be a tournament mode. Now personally, I do quite want to see that, because I'd be quite interested to see how that stacks up against, for example, the tournament kind of thing that they have going in Chivalry. I'd really like to see how they do it, but the benchmark in my opinion for first person medieval sword fighting is Chivalry, so if they can get to that kind of standard or better, then this I can see as being a very popular game when it arrives. However, it is a long way off, like I've said. There will be a number of choices of character you can choose, and there'll be quests, there'll be skill based mini games. The world is huge. As I've said, it's an open world, and there will be a multitude of weapons that you can do. You can battle and siege castles. That sounds pretty damn cool. Though you'll be able to ride horses. That's another thing that's pretty cool. I've wanted to ride horses many a few times in Chivalry. I mean, I know I can in Mount & Blade, but Mount & Blade isn't quite the game I'm looking for. In my opinion, I'm looking for something like Chivalry on horses, which is what this is. In addition to what I said earlier about the beta, or early access being, I don't know when it is, I stand corrected, it says it will actually be in 6 months' time. So I would imagine that's 6 months from now, so that is approximately October, September kind of time, maybe August. So you're looking around that time for early access. So yeah, it's not too long to wait till then, but the problem I have with that is that that's a long time before the actual release of the game, and that means that you might be actually bored of the game by the time it comes out, and especially if you pay £125, you don't want to be bored of the game by that time. I mean, it looks like an amazing game, and personally, if you want to contribute to get a copy of Act 1, go ahead. It's difficult for me to recommend contributing to get Act 2 and 3. It is a huge amount of money to be donating to a cause that is miles away in the future. The levels of donation really that I can recommend for this game are the levels that cost between £15 and £30, because they give you pretty much all you need for your money. They give you access to Act 1, obviously if you pay more you get a few extra things, like access to forums, download of the making of video, digital soundtracks, but really you don't need any of that, so that's completely up to you whether you get it. If you don't want any of that and you just want the game itself, then go for the £15 option. The second game of today is a game called Project Rainworld, which is a side-scrolling game, platformer with a very simplistic art style. However, it's not too simplistic, and it's actually quite aesthetically pleasing to look at. The whole plot of the game is that you are a lonely slugcap in this dystopian world, and you have to fight to survive essentially. You need to hunt bats and other creatures, but you also need to survive from the other creatures that are in the world without being killed. I'm not quite sure what the other creatures are. They look kind of like you, but stretched and with a glowing head. They look a bit like, I don't know, a cross between Chaos from Sonic Adventure, a cat and a lizard. All that kind of weird stuff going on there. There's also very harsh ecosystem going on here. Deadly rain you have to survive from. You can pick up things, throw them at your enemies for defense. But, to say the least, this game has got one of the most brutal death animations I've ever seen for a side-scrolling platformer. I mean, when you get killed, I will describe it to you. I might put up the animated image on screen just now, if I can find it. But essentially, these other creatures that are hunting you, if they actually manage to get you, one of them will start biting you, and the others will tear you apart and either throw you to the side or drag you off screen. It is actually, considering how cute the slug cat is, it is so brutal. It's quite the opposite of the environment. You've got this cute slug cat and a very nasty dystopian ancient civilization, which is vaguely alien. You've got that cuteness of the cat, and then you've got the harshness of, like I said, the environment and the creatures in it. It feels like you shouldn't be there, to be honest. But you've got to survive. It looks really nice, and it's actually quite easy to get. The minimum pledge to get a digital copy of the game is but $10. That is a pittance in compared to some of the other projects. But I would highly recommend this game. It looks really nice actually, and it looks like it could be a lot of fun. It's there are plenty of platformers out there, but this actually seems to do what it does very well. There is currently no demo, much like with all the other games, but there is alpha videos out there. There's, I believe, a Greenlight page now. Originally their set goal was $25,000, and they've surpassed that. Not by much, they've got $56,000, which is, albeit double what they wanted, not much more considering other campaigns get 200, 300, 400 extra. That's 1,000, not just 400. But it's really good actually for a small project. But I must I must put emphasis on the fact that there is only 30 hours to go from recording this video. By the time this video is up, it'll be 29 or 28 hours left. So if you want this game, you want to try it out, go donate now, because you might be out of time soon. The estimated delivery date for this game is December 2014, which, albeit is about 8-10 months away. I don't know why I said 8 to 10. December is 10 months away. There is the option to pay more to get extra stuff, including early access, and according to this, for the $25 tier, early access will be estimated delivery in August 2014. However, the tiers above that also come with early access that cost more still say December 2014, so I'm unsure about when early access will be, but it will be prior to the release of the actual game. It will be on Steam. From what I can see on the actual Kickstarter page, only 2 people are credited with doing the game. One of them doing concept, programming, art and design, and the other doing the music, the sound, and the business junk. The final game that I am going to show you today is by far the most aesthetically amazing and beautiful game that I have ever seen on Kickstarter or by any indie studio at all. The game is called Cradle, and it's been created by a team called Mojo Game Studios. Cradle is a spectacularly amazing looking open world action role-playing game. I have never ever seen a game look this amazing by any indie developer ever. In fact, even some AAA developers don't even have something that looks amazing as this, albeit this is the video we're watching and not actually playing the game. Anything seen in this may not necessarily be representative of the final product. However, if this is what it looks like at the moment, I'm really looking forward to the final product. Let me take a moment to read a small paragraph from the description on Kickstarter. Cradle tells the story of an exiled traveller caught at the centre of a monumental struggle between humanity, nature and the gods. In addition to an immersive narrative experience set in a breathtaking world to explore, Cradle offers an exciting new type of strategic first-person melee combat. The game features 5 distinct environments, 5 playable character classes, and a system for weapon and armour augments, as well as much more. Now, the 5 distinct environments that I mentioned there are Bayou, or Bayou, I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced, Icelands, Quarry, Desert and Titanwood. Now don't be deceived by the name Icelands, because it is not necessarily icy. For example, it says here, warm yourself by flows of molten rock in the snow. Last time I checked, Icelands were not covered in molten rock, but at least there is snow. The augments that I mentioned are in the form of when you gain mana and level up, your weapon changes how it looks. For example, the Druid Staff, which is shown on the Kickstarter page, becomes more fiery and redder as you progress in levels on it. The 5 characters which you can choose from will include Druid, Ranger, Paladin, Swordsman, and the Arcanist. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. There will be questing within the game, as well as a full progression system. There will be weapons which you can choose from, armour, different types of armour. It's also got an element of crafting and survival in it, where finding stuff in the woods will help you survive, and mixing different things will do different things. Like, for example, some might regenerate your health, others might enhance your resilience. In the case of the other 2 projects that were shown in this video, those 2 projects had already surpassed their goal by quite an amount, whereas this one hasn't even got half of what it's required, or at least wanting. It's only got 104,000, which is less than half, like I said, of what it actually wants, which is 350,000. There's 8 days to go. It doesn't look like they're going to get it, but they can with your help. to get a copy of the game, all it does is take $25. Or 20 if you just want the beta. They've split it up so if you want beta you can pay 20, if you want the full game plus beta you get 25. That's not a bad deal. One of the reasons why I think they haven't got what they are looking for is the fact that they have quite a number of small pledge amounts which don't really get you much. Like for example, $5 gets you a certificate, $1 gets you a thank you, $7 gets you a high resolution wallpaper, and of course all of the above, and $15 gets you a backer certificate, a thank you on their website, and a little digital art book. The main reason, however, as to why I think that this game hasn't received quite the amount of backing I thought it was going to get, or what they maybe thought it was going to get, is the fact that the release date is summer 2016. Now, that is a very long time away, and I thought almost 2 years was a long time to wait for Kingdom Come Deliverance, but 2.5 years? That's a long time to wait, especially for something you're paying for. So I think that might deter quite a lot of people from backing it, and it's unfortunate, to be honest, that it's going to take so long to make. Admittedly, I can see why it's going to take so long to make, but it's a shame because I fear that the date itself for release will mean that others that might have donated in the first place might not now, because it's a long time to wait. There will be a beta around prior to release, however I'm not quite sure when that will be. I would imagine it would be maybe a few months before, but I don't imagine it being significantly earlier that would entice those people that weren't backing it for the reason that it's too long away to maybe make them decide to then back it. It's a very long time away, and that must be taken into account when thinking about backing a project such as this. When donating to these Kickstarter campaigns, please bear in mind that what you see or what you play, in the case if there is a demo, may not necessarily be representative of what is in the final game. Things change, things become better, things become worse. You are donating to a thought, an idea, or maybe even just a concept. When donating, always donate at your own risk, as there is an element of risk involved with donating to these things, as they're never guaranteed to be finished. I would hope that in most cases that they are, but it's not guaranteed. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will bid you farewell.